Welcome back to the show. We are Green Room Radio, the coolest, dopest radio show in Las Vegas. I am here with my friend, Mr. Glenn Lawrence.
I'm so glad you know your friend's name.
Glenn Lawrence from Torrance.
Yes, sir.
And then we have a very special guest, Miss Gia Macool.
What?
Did I get that right?
You got it
Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Gia.
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 All right. And so...
And I keep growing.
Yeah. Miss Gia, you just got to Vegas today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. And what were you doing? I heard you were at a convention.
Yeah, I had to speak at a convention.
What was
the arena, and it was a combination of a fitness event. So they had hikes all day, ice baths, and just different fitness, activities. And then at the end, they had keynote speakers. So I was one of them.
What do you think about that whole ice bath thing? I just got a cold plunge.
I think it's a trend.
Yeah, you should see his ice bath.
Yeah, I got one. I just got the one. It's not real ice in there. I've done it with ice. That's the real deal. But this one stays at 36, and you just get in. But I've heard goods and bads.
Yeah, I mean, you can use it. I just like the way social media is everything runs in trends. So now ice baths are coming out and...
Ozempic?
Fasting.
Ozempic?
Thank you. That's the new one. So you're going to start seeing a lot of that.
The intermittent fasting?
No, like fasting.
Just straight?
Yeah, straight 7-day fasting. Yeah, that's the new trend.
Really?
You see a lot of people in Vegas.
People do 18-hour fasts. I mean, I didn't hear a lot about that. I just stick to my schedule.
Mm-hmm. I don't like fads or trends. I just stick to consistency. It's what works for me.
Well, you know what's not been consistent? You coming into this space of talking about relationships from fitness. That's pretty inconsistent.
I've been consistent with it.
You have, though. You have.
I've pulled that content since 2010, and I've been doing coaching. The problem is that people want to focus on what they want to focus on.
Yeah.
And they want to pinpoint one little thing that I do, which is half naked.
And I mean, really, is there a problem with that?
Hey,
what does that mean by half naked? Just showing that you have a
bikinis.
Okay.
That's all they want to focus on.
Now,
That's only one thing I do.
Well, that's kind of funny though. Like, why is it like you can't be both, right? You can't be a bikini model and actually talk about relationships and give good advice. It's like the two cannot be mixed together for some reason.
Well, it can, and you can wear many hats, but unfortunately, not many people have that skill. They're not able to do that, so they inflict their own limitations onto other people.
Yeah, they project, right?
So when you say these haters, are most of them female or male?
I would say it's a mix. A lot of my following came from the bikini modeling, right? So a lot of male demographic. And when I kind of stopped putting that stuff as much, I got a lot of hate from them.
So did you compete? Did you get into these competitions?
I actually started making suits. I started sewing and making the extreme tiny bikinis. I would sew them and sell them. I did very well with those. And I started getting into competition suits. So when I stopped putting that much content, started getting hate from men. And then when I got into the relationship side and I start outing female accountability, that's when I was called a misogynist, all types of things.
I thought that was only for us men to be called a misogynist.
No, it's anybody bringing accountability to women.
Ooh. I get called a narcissist.
It's funny because you've had other people on here that talk about this stuff. And you said that you wanted to hear it from a woman.
Oh, yeah. So
this is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I'll throw it out there, and I'm sure you probably know them. But, I've had Michael Sartain several times. I have Rolo. Here's my thing. I don't know Rolo that well. I do know Michael just because he's been in Vegas for so long. I don't personally agree with most of the stuff he says. I like him as a person outside of here. But again, a lot of it, those fresh and fit guys, I don't understand it. And like how you said, kind of like a trend. I feel like it is a trend, and I feel like they are slowly depleting at this point. I don't know how long they've really been going, but it sounds like a lot of repeat. We had Michael on here twice, but even when I'm watching I'm noticing it's like a lot of repeated data. I know he does a thing called what is it? MOA, Men of Action. So one of my biggest, questions for him on that is, what do you do that would make me want to mentor you?
Or be mentored by you.
Or get in this program. You know, like anybody can be a mentor. I could say, hey, for swimsuit models, you're my mentor. For music, this guy's my mentor. But for him in particular, I was like, what are you selling? Like, what is your mentorship? Is it walking girls into a club? Is it judging these type of events? I don't understand. You know, so when I see some of these shows like the Access Vegas, and even I even think the Fresh and Fit's even a little bit worse. I don't know what the plot and plan is, you know, but I know they've burnt a lot of bridges with people, and I've always felt that way. I'm like, you know, when we started, we want it to be kind of a newer version of like the Breakfast Club. So I was told, hey, when somebody doesn't want to talk about this, go at them with that. And I was just like, you know what? That's just not my style. I'm not going to do that. I said, because there's a lot of people watching you all the time. And when you do something like that, you're never going to get people on your show because, you know, I've had guests come on and say, we watched you for like 3 months before we were comfortable. And then some people are very like, what are you going to say? And I just said, you know, I told my boss on the whole show, I said, listen, man, if we've done like 150 of these almost, I said, if somebody organically sits down and comes at us, any of us, in any negative way, it will happen organically. Like, I'm from Detroit. I love it. However, we haven't had anybody like that. Even Michael, like when I first had him, I've been seeing Michael for years, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna douchebag check this guy. I need to see him in person and see what the fuck he's talking about. And like I said, I mean, he didn't really go down the roads I've seen him go on his own show. So it was funny because I said he kind of made it through our show. And I was like, I told the girl that was on the show, I said, well, shit, he made it, you know. And I said, he didn't seem like a douchebag to me, whatever. And we're standing out there, and he tells the girl, he's like, hey, if you want, I'll get you on stage to meet the DJ. And I'm like, damn it, Michael, you just fucked up the whole douchebag thing. I'm like, dude, she's a porn star. She can get on any stage anytime. She does not need you at all. But that was the only thing. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about these trends of not just them in particular, but there's obviously a group of like 3 or 4 of those people that are doing that. And it's just like, I don't even know how they're getting guests anymore. You know, I hear girls now, like, I'm never going on there again, you know, and
I am not going to speak about them. I've never met them in person.
Yep.
I have like this firm belief, like if I've never had a chance to sit down with you and actually go back and forth and have like a real debate, I'm not going to bring you up. I don't like to name drop anybody, right? But I do think that overall the trend online, social media wise, we have gotten to a point now where we have parasocial interaction, which is, it's allowing people to suspend reality and live through emotions. It's no different than drinking alcohol, taking drugs, whatever addiction you have. It's not about reality anymore. It's not about what's real or the truth. It's about feeding an emotion.
It's about how they feel.
So you don't necessarily ever have to face the truth because you can live through the emotion online, which is why people are addicted to social media.
And that's where you get these echo chambers.
Correct. And these men are, you know, have been hurt or have bad examples
100%.
For women. So they can go online, they can find these groups who will feed that emotion constantly. They get addicted to that loop and then they never come out. And then it's turns into a mental illness.
Well, and see, there is truth to the complaint, right? There is truth to what some of the things that they're saying when it comes to how guys are being interacted or how guys are not being successful when it comes to in dating or interacting with women overall.
And I bring that up too. I'm always talking about what women can do better. But the problem is there's another side to it.
Absolutely.
And if you're not willing to talk, think of it like this. Would you go to a woman who's never had any kids, who's never been married, who's single? Would you go to her to get marriage and parenting advice? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, what if that same woman would shut and silence anybody who was happily married or had kids? Wouldn't that be detrimental to the future?
It would. Yeah, that's something good to bring up. I mean, something that I've been thinking about because I'm actually rolling in to 50 here this year. You know, I come from a family where my mom and dad were married 56 years. I've had really long-term relationships, but you know, I don't want to blame it on Vegas. I think it's any big city. But it's just, I don't, you know, my question is, because I don't know this for sure, but I'm like, are we out of that era?
No.
So now I'm going to flip it on you. So now men who's never had children, who's never had a marriage past 10 years, is online not just telling other men not to have kids and not get married, but now they're silencing anybody who has an alternate opinion.
Yeah.
How is that good for the future? That's detrimental to the future.
And me and Gia will be on the phone. We will talk about these things. Like, you should literally hear our conversations. If our conversations on the phone were aired, like we break down.
Can talk forever.
Like, we get into these, like, all the nuances. Cause like, it's like, look, it's not all men's fault. It's not all women's fault. It's both of their faults. And the real problem is that neither side really wants to take accountability for the fuckery.
Yeah,
I'm tired of the finger pointing.
Yeah, that's
just the easy way to go.
I've actually always said that when I meet somebody and it's these quick interactions. I always say, or you meet somebody new and I'm like, I'm not saying all girls are. It's mutual out here. There's just as many bad guys as
well. This is what
girls,
I tell people, like in my broken relationships, right? Like, I said, you know what? I own some accountability here, right? Like, I either missed red flags that I should have been aware of, or I allowed bad behavior to take place without correcting it that led to the demise of the relationship. So there's still some responsibility that I have to hold, regardless of what their actions were, right?
Yeah.
Like, I still can't blame it on them, so it's like, until guys can get to that point, instead of saying it's always that crazy bitch's fault, like.
But like you yourself admitted, right? I love dating porn stars.
Well, that was him. That was him.
Well, here's what the crazy thing was.
Let's talk about that, though. It's because the crazy woman is going to be fun. She's going to be fun.
That's here's the thing. Even so, when I have a 5-year-old daughter with a porn star. I didn't know she was a porn star. She kind of introduced me to the world, and then, like I said, I'm very introvert, and so like these porn stars that I've interacted with, for radio shows, who wants to get on a show more than porn stars? So I directly, like my direct contact interacting with people, the public will say, because I'm very homebody, is in here.
Mm-hmm.
So for whatever reason, the porn stars and strippers and OnlyFans girls, and maybe you're right. It seems like they have that funner spirit and the vibe. It's not about
fun,
them
and they're also honest. They're also more. They already have a stigma, right? So they're not trying to people please. They've already accepted the fact that I'm going to be stamped. So I might as well just come out and say what I want. And men respect that more than a woman who comes across like a prude or a religious chick who's going to do it all right. And then behind your back, she's doing the same stuff as the porn star.
That's the crazy 100%. Thing. Because I've said that all the time. Like, I would trust a porn star over a church girl. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're a church girl, I'll be like, yeah, you say you never done this before. You lying.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's true. I mean,
there's an argument that strippers and porn stars are more intelligent. I don't agree with that. I do just think that they're willing to take the heat and the hate, and they don't care.
Well, what I found, that's kind of crazy is the, what do they call it? Kind of like deflecting. They're seeing, especially the ones that work at strip clubs, they're seeing men that are out here. And it took me a long time, they basically say men are out here cheating on their wife. And it's almost like, you can see with the more you're around them, it's like, man, these girls really fucking do not like guys.
Well, because they see the worst behavior.
But they have said that. They're like, oh, we see these fucking guys cheating on their fucking wives and da-da-da-da-da. And for a long time, like, I come from not that type of background at all. But I had to, like, really think about it. And, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I got to the point where I'm like, okay, being a stripper, just like coming out here, men taking maybe money from their wife's bank account and gambling. The strip club's just part of this experience that they're doing. Not that they should be out here cheating, but here's the experience they're doing. But then they are returning to their normal life.
And why do you think they're doing that? Let's get your feedback on that. I have my own.
I mean, this is what I would just guess. This would just be an estimated guess. I think there's a lot of people, and I mean, I know for a fact I'm one of them. I always tell people I sacrificed my whole life for music, period. I said on a talk show, and I kind of like want to pull it back, but I said it's before my family, before my kids, before everything. My whole soul went to that to become what I had to become. But I was always told success comes from isolation. And so, hang on, where were we at? I just lost my train of thought.
I want to know why you think men live double lives.
Okay, so after a while, so what I would find is I'm doing the right thing. I'm in the studio 12 hours a day, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months goes by, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm happy. I have somebody at home, but you get this like urge, and I don't know if it takes you back to your younger days, but you're kind of like, well, I should go to fucking Vegas. I should, like, I deserve it. Like I've put in all this time. I haven't, and never been the mindset of I'm going to come out there, find some stripper, maybe go the escort route. But it's the whole thing of like, for me, as I've gotten older, I've always said to myself, let me see. Like, can I still pull a girl? So in half of the time, I'll just say stuff to people just to see if I could or if I couldn't. And then, I've been with people that are like, why would you do that? And it sounds really dumb, but it's like, as I'm getting older, I'm getting more insecure. And I start to think to myself, like, porn stars, like you said, they're very upfront. You're not relevant anymore. You won a Grammy 20 years ago. You're not shit anymore. And like that shit breaks me to pieces. Like late, back when I'm home.
This is what they value.
Yeah. And
so that gets me down to what men and women value, right? Different things. Men value sex. I get a lot of heat for saying this, but men love whores. They love whores. They love porn stars. Why? Because as long as she doesn't make him look bad, as long as she doesn't ruin his respect with other men, he would take a whore over anything else.
That's why we say all the time.
I get a lot of hate from that. Yeah. So that's why they go online and they call every other woman whore, because they're getting the pats on the back from dudes going, yeah, man, yeah. But in reality, they're going in her DM saying how much it's going to take.
Well, here's the thing is, that's why we say body count doesn't matter. Body count doesn't matter. Like
so that gets me down the number. To women value money and men value sex. And until we are willing to be like honest with that and talk about that, that's really what they value. So men at home with their wives are not getting the enthusiastic sex. They're not getting the woman who can switch hats and be his porn star.
Well, because he also doesn't pull that out of her either.
Well, you get caught in a mold, especially when there's kids involved. You got mom playing mom all day, and then you actually, even though it's your own kids, you're like, damn, like.
No, but
you're always tired. It starts to become like a job.
Double standard for married women. And being married for as long as I have, I can tell you this. I've experienced it. If you are a mom, if you are a wife, you cover up. They tell me, you're not supposed to wear that. You're not supposed to show cleavage. Why? Why not? I can't be sexy.
Yeah, like why is it like as soon as like you become moms, like you're not allowed to be sexy? Like you can't be sexy moms?
So society actually creates this and then will turn right around and condemn you for the same thing it condones. So women that are mothers feel like, oh, I have to be a certain way around my kids, or, people are going to shame me. And then they get into this role because women work in habits. Whatever you give her is what she's going to.
So what do you think about Lila Rose? Lila Rose made a video saying that men don't need sex.
So that entire clip was meant to clickbait. Just like every other viral clip that goes out, it was meant to clickbait. She was trying to talk about lack of discipline. But the truth of the matter is men need sex.
Yeah, I told her it's like
a woman that doesn't understand male biology.
Yeah, because I told her, like, if men don't need sex, then men don't need women. Here's
the thing. There are countless studies showing that men who have regular sex are healthier, more productive, happier in their life. So until you can show me alternate studies that show the opposite, hers is just an opinion and not facts.
Do you think girls do the same thing as guys? So just like I told you, like, so if you're at home, like what I told you, I'm in the studio a month, 2 months go by and I'm just engulfed in work. So even as a mom, even if you're engulfed in work or you're engulfed in your kids, do you have that urge to be like, oh, you know what? I want to go out to this bar and dress this way just to see if people are attracted? Like you're not necessarily even thinking about
Everybody
cheating.
wants to be desired.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
And attention is gold in girl world.
Yep.
It's different. Like men want to be acknowledged for their success in their resume, their accomplishments. Women want to be acknowledged for their beauty.
People like to hide the attraction side of things because it takes work.
Well, I think it's the arousal.
It takes a lot of work. So people who are overweight, which we have a huge problem here in America, people that don't take care of themselves. And that's what happens is they try to underplay the attraction part. You have to stay attractive, regardless whether you're married or single.
So what's the solution? What's the solution to this? Like, is it what is the let's break down a solution. Like what would we like diagnose as a solution, prescription?
So it's going to depend on the person, right? People are naturally lazy and they want easy. If you want lazy and you want easy, don't get married. It's work. And the people who do get into marriage, the women have to put in the effort. They have to be the initiator for sex. They have to be the one to stay attractive. They have to get their body into the gym. They have to be able to wear multiple hats. You'll hear a lot of people online that say it's a man's job to turn a woman on. I completely disagree. That's not the man's
I agree
job.
with you.
A man can get turned on like that. He doesn't need anything. She
like
can
a
look
light switch.
She can look like shit with her hair up in a bun and a big old, and he still want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to her to stay attractive. I'm a firm believer in that, and I get a lot of flack for it.
So, okay, so we get the attraction side, but what is the incentive? Why should she?
That's the long game. See? So people have traded character, integrity, loyalty, all the things that matter. When you lose looks, when you lose money, everybody's traded all the good things that stay with you into the grave for money, for short-term gratification. And they're only looking at now. It's going to hit them later on when you can't pull that work, when you get an injury, when you're home, when you're like Thor. Yeah. That's when it hits you.
Yeah.
That's when marriage matters. That's when having somebody there for you that doesn't care about all that nonsense. That doesn't care about fame. That's the problem. A lot of men can't find women like that.
It's very difficult, especially in a town like this. You know, what's funny about Vegas is there's even like fame with just these internal jobs. Everywhere you go, somebody's like, hey, I'm the senior director of pool operations. I'm like, what in the fuck is that? You know, like, will you oversee the pool at the nightclub? Like, but they have titles out here. And like, you literally see these girls, and I'm sure it goes both ways, but they're, oh, you're the senior director. But they always want to say that. Hey, this is my boyfriend. He's the senior director of Wynn Pools.
People want to feel important to the world.
So
and care about other people's opinions.
That's what I see in Vegas a lot. And it's crazy. And, you know, even working around waitresses, and that's kind of like, you know, the money that they're making out here, it's unrealistic. And they don't even realize that. And I've seen them all go from the high to crashing. You know, I had a girlfriend one time, and she was crying after, you know, she had kind of aged herself out. And she was like, I don't know how I need to find a job making like $200,000-300,000 a year. And I'm like, girl, you never fucking went to school or nothing. Like, you got a job that's unrealistic. Like, people don't just make $3,000 at a pool party a day. Cash. And I mean, out here they get used to it, but they feel intimidated. People, you know, it's like the hosts make the waitresses feel like they're not nothing. And I mean, and then something I always saw with the waitresses, they would be like, oh, I'm dating this guy, he's the linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. And then a few weeks later, it's, oh, I'm dating Dr. So-and-so. And then I asked the same girl that I would talk to. I said, "Have you ever just said, hey, I'm dating this person because he's cool?" I was like, because you keep going through different boyfriends. Yeah,
they're looking for lifestyle.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I think, and they know in their head that it's temporary. I think right down to porn stars, like, you know, they get told, oh, you know, I'm gonna leave my wife, or I'm gonna do this, and it's like something in them believes that for that minute. But it's really not true.
Like I said, they basically let go of reality to feed an emotional need. And then that becomes an addiction, and that's what they're feeding.
Well, yes. Don't you you get a lot of flack for just saying half the things you just said here. Like, what is the biggest attack that you see that you get? Like, how do they come at you?
When I tell women to have sex with their husbands.
But what is their, like, how do they attack you? Like, what's the comeback? Like,
They tell me that I am condoning marital rape.
What?
Condoning marital rape?
That I'm encouraging men to do marital rape.
I thought like, you know, that consent was that I do. Like, I thought you get married. That's what it's made for.
They break their vows when they tell them no.
That's true.
And they don't like me saying that either.
Well, okay, back to what True was saying, like, you know, the problem, like, is marriage even a thing anymore? Like, is it even worth it?
I keep thinking that, like, you know, like, I go back to, you know, I came from a small town. Everybody stayed there. Everybody's married to somebody I went to school with. And I'm like, but now that we're in this like 21st century, like, is that era of people being married for 50 years? It's very surprising to me, because I look at some, you know, my longest relationship, 11 years, probably the shortest, maybe 5 to 7. But most people, you know, you're talking about they're in a 1-year relationship, and it's constantly turning. So I'm like, how the fuck do people stay married for 50 years if the majority of the people are only in and out, in and out?
So if you look at marriage in terms of the guy looking at a woman for care and sex, and a woman looking for a man to take care of her bills, no. there's no need to get married anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If you're seeing it from that, there's a lot of people that see it that way.
Yeah.
I don't see my husband for that. Okay. I see it as somebody who I come home to and I'm happy to tell my day to. I enjoy every moment with him. He's the only person I really want to spend time with.
He's a cool dude though.
When things are really tough, he's the guy that I go to. He's the guy that I can struggle, that I can starve with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is why marriage works. And this is why people are married 50 years or whatever it is. If you're looking at it in terms of what I can get from the other person, or you're marrying the lifestyle, because a lot of women don't marry the guy that they actually want.
Yeah, I read an article that says, I want my first marriage to be for money and my second marriage for love. I was like, damn, they're just bold with it. Like, they're just coming out with it.
Out here is strictly money based. And, you know, I told a lot of people would say stuff, you know, like stigmas. They'd be like, oh, well, you go travel on the road and I bet you got so many groupies and stuff. And I had to ask people, you know, I'm glad that I was with the group that I was with, because we all had kids. Our backstage looked like a daycare. And I was like, like, here's the deal. I'm like, yeah, we can get the groupies. But I'm like, you know, just because you're playing on stage with a major artist and somebody sees that, and then the girl, you know that the girl's with you for that purpose only, does that really make you feel good? Absolutely not. Doesn't make me. So that it would deter me from that. But I've seen people out here, like I always have, like I've always had like little second bat houses, because I've been friends with girls, you know, that I kind of liked. Month, 2 months goes by, and then I might bring her to like what I would call my main house. All of a sudden she likes me. Why? But I'm like, I know that she doesn't like me. I could feed into it like, oh, that's great. She likes me now because I got a nice house. But it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. It's
and you can tell, and guys can tell when they're just being tolerated and they're not even being desired.
Your brother is the juggernaut, right? From Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Oh, shit.
So it's like, you understand what he's talking about, because your brother has to deal with the same, you know, stuff. Like, what is the advice for guys? And because I talk to guys, my guys that I talk to are not in this, you know, sphere. They're regular blue collar guys, everyday guys that are just trying to get noticed by a woman. They don't have anything they could really lean on other than like maybe good looks, charisma, but they don't have like the accolades or like the bankroll that your brother and True got. So how do you see like the struggle that these guys have that are completely different than?
Yeah, you can't ignore feminism.
Yeah, like it's just is there two different solutions?
No, it's just that right now everybody living currently that's even available, single, in that age that you'd even consider being in a relationship with, has been influenced by feminism. They use birth control. They can choose when, you know, or not to conceive. They have their own way of making their own revenue. So it's like they want a guy now just to have fun. They're looking at him in a different way. And that's what women do. So I always say, find a woman who, one, moves off common sense and is aware of the lies and is pleasant to be around. The rest of it, all the other little crap that you see online about red flag this, red flag that, in the long run, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I said like what you call a red flag will be my green flag.
Yeah. Do you think I've always thought this, you know, when I think at like, oh man, these people have been married for 50 years. How many of those people you think in that 50 years, one or the other cheated? Like, do you think that's something that could just, because I'm like, if I'm seeing people only date for a year or sometimes 3 years, and it's usually due to one person or the other cheating, I'm like, well, damn, how do they stay for 50 years? Like, did that happen along their road? And I mean, my heart tells me yes.
A lot of them, they'll cheat and that they think the grass is greener. They go out there and they find out they just traded one problem for another, and then they get back together. And a lot of times, like I said, as long as she didn't make him look bad, or it was a guy that he didn't know, like a close friend, he would take her back.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I used to say that to people. I said the worst, you know, when I went through a whole rehab back when I was 30. And one of my things, I said it was the rehab didn't get me out of it. I had like 4 major events, but I said one of them was my son's mom cheating on me. I said I was 30 and that was the first time. And I'm like, I'm sure somebody cheated on me. I just didn't know. But that was the first one. And it was done amongst my peers. And I said, so again, it wasn't just the cheating part. Right. It was the embarrassment part in front of all my music people. And I was like, that just destroyed me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I put that on my top 4 things. And, you know, moving forward today, I'm still friends, and she still lives out here with my son. And I mean, I look at it different now, but I told her, I said, you were one of the major 4 things that brought me out of that. However, I know we were both, you know, she was in the same type of job. We're in high profile jobs. We're traveling the world. We're partying. We're doing drugs every day. You know, I get it, but I was like, I don't know. It's just, it was basically one of the reasons I stopped doing what I did. And at that 30-year mark, when I came out of the rehab, one of the things I switched over to this numerology of 1111. So I have a daughter named 1111. That's why I have them all over me. And they're like, well, what does that mean? And I said, well, I said, yeah, I got on my nails. I mean, pretty much all over me, everywhere. 111s. I think they're on my arm somewhere. But I said, I said, that's my church. I said, I don't really go to church because I said, I don't like, number one, you can pray on your own. You don't need to do it in front of 200 strangers. And half of these strangers, I think, go to church. And then on Monday, they're back to being a piece of shit again.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
The moral of the story is just be a good person. Get the message. If going to church makes you feel good, do it. I still will go sometimes, and you get the message. I said, but the message is just be a good person. So I still, even in the accountability, I'm like, prior to even coming into contact with her or whatever, oh, I was cheating. I was doing all kinds of shit. But that's one of the things I said. I said, I won't, you know, with my daughter's mom. She said that. She like accused me of that. And I said, I go, do you think all these 11s and everything? I said, you really think that since 30, I have not cheated on nobody? And I said, because I felt like that was just part of the karma and aura. I said, I saw how I felt and how it made me look and everything. And I really was like, fuck, I've been doing that to people. And who knows if it hit them in that same origin as it hit me. But I got to tell you what, it was enough to stop everything.
I see what that points out is that you're pointing out to accountability. You're pointing to like internal accountability, and you're like, this has to stop with me.
Yeah.
And see, I think that's the solution ultimately with people. It's personal accountability first.
But then here's the rollover to this. So since doing that, when I was doing this on the road and would have 5 girlfriends at the same time, they didn't give a shit. I couldn't even keep them away from me. Now I'm so soft and nice. They fucking steamroll me.
I've heard this.
They do not want no fucking nice guy. And I'm like, again, I'm not breaking my own personal creeds. And I said, but I get fucking steamrolled. Yeah. And it was crazy because my daughter's mom is very whatever. But one day, I was finally just mad, and I just kind of like snapped back into that mode before. And she responded better to that, to me having to like go to that level again. But even doing so, I caught myself, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not going to do that because of this.
Women can feed and read emotions a little bit better.
Well, it's almost like they like being.
So if they can read that from you, or they can get that from you, that's why I talk to guys, and they always say that, like, the minute when I didn't care about getting with a chick, or I didn't care about dating, I had all these girls after me. It's the moment that I care and I actually wanted to get in a relationship that they all ghost me. Mm-hmm. And I keep saying it, that's why I said don't chase women. If I could tell guys one thing, stop chasing women. Just go out there, make sure everything is right. Make sure you have what you want, like long term. You seek out that goal. You keep accomplishing things. You master. I said today in the speech, master monotony. Why do you see somebody come out with like a good book or a good podcast, and then all of a sudden they go dark and they don't do anything after that?
Because they didn't stay relevant. They didn't
master the monotony.
Yeah.
Right. Mastering monotony is being enthusiastic with everything that you do.
All the little processes.
However small it is, do it better the next time, and the better the next time. I just think that men need to do that. They need to work on that, focus on those things, make their finances right, their future, set, and women will come naturally.
That's something that like bodybuilders do a lot too, though. The monotony, like embrace the suck. Like when you're getting ready to compete, is like all the little exercises.
You can't just walk into the gym and just go through the motions. You're not going to get the results. You have to master it to be better every time. Do a little bit more, extra plate on that rack.
Okay. Well, before you got any more questions before we get out of here?
No, man. Just
All right. Well, where can people find you at on your social media?
Easy to find. GiaMacool.com.
On everything. And you're based out of Florida?
In Florida.
What part of Florida?
You can find her on Twitter getting yelled at, and then me having to go in there and be like, eh.
Where can people find you at, Glenn?
Your mom's house. No, at your house.
Just so you know, I have 2 dads. We can talk about that later. You can just find me on Green Room Radio. And thank you very much for coming through.
You.
I appreciate it.
It's been good to get to know you a little.
Yep. Peace out.
Round 2.